With another class mod video. Today we're going to be looking at the Siren, Amara. Amara is definitely one of my more favorite characters in this Borderlands. I do like. I think Flak is the most efficient, and I'm going to be loading up Flak here just to go to Sanctuary real quick to put something in my storage for Amara actually. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to give you, I guess, a quick overview of who Amara is, what she does, her role in this Borderlands. Amara is a melee siren, or I guess as melee as a siren as you can get, because she summons giant fucking fists. Her red skill tree is very similar to Maya's ability of Phase Lock in Borderlands 2, and provides like just so much control for your team. She can output a crazy amount of damage with elemental weapons, and she's queen of elements, and she's just so needed for a late game team comp that you always want to have at least one Amara. You need one Amara and one Flak at the very least. You don't really need Mose or Zane as much. I would prefer late game comps to be like two Amara, a Flak, and either a Zane or a Mose. But you need the Amara, you need the Flak. Two Amara allows for just so much control with the way that we're going to build her. Let me just go to my bank real quick. I have a class mod that I wanted to use with her. I think I have enough room. I don't. Just take that out for now. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Alright. I'm going to switch over to Amara here. I have not finished my regular playthrough with her yet, unfortunately. I've only finished the playthrough with Flak, both playthroughs with Flak and Zane. Mose and Amara I'm still working through. I have everything unlocked for them because I was playing like friend stories and everything out, helping with them. But I want to get to at least true Vault Hunter mode so I could start farming with her, because she's pretty good for farming. But like I said, I think Flak is the easiest to farm with just because of his ability and the ability that he has to just melt the bosses with critical hits with the different weapons that he can like just synergize with his kit so well. Lyuda and the King's Call, Queen's Call. Amara can make use of those too, I guess. I would. If I was going to use a Jacob's weapon on her, I would most likely use the companion, the fire. It has a 100% chance to ignite on a critical hit. I think I should have Sanctuary unlocked for her. If I could open up my Echo menu. Yeah, I need to get a hard drive so I can have these load times be a little faster. Alright, so we're going to look at her build first, and then we're going to look at the weapons that synergize with her, class mods, all that fun stuff. Mara's just, like I said, she's the only Siren that I've actually enjoyed playing. I didn't really like Maya in Borderlands 2. I didn't really like Lilith in Borderlands 1. I was a Brick main in 1, and I was a Krieg and Gage main in 2. Alright. Let's go get that class mod out of here real quick. And I'm gonna put some stuff back for her. I could sell these and that. I have a lot of stuff for my Amara here. I don't know where all these purples came from. Trevinator is another great weapon for her. Fire cell musket. The laser splitter is also one of my faves. And this Lyuda, one of my friends gave me, oh my god. After using face cast, weapon damage increased by 250%. That is our boss killer right there, boys. And it is times 2. It is just disgusting. I don't need those. Alright, let's go sell those guys. Sorry, I gotta do this fresh while it's in my brain, and then we'll get to the build.
Nobody does bullets better than Marcus munitions. Whatever it is,
29. Nice. Okay. Let's go back into our room, do this build real quick, and get to some gameplay. So, I like using the blue tree and the red tree. You could use the green tree. It's not. It's like I have 1 point from the class mod in it, but I mean, for green tree is mainly for survival and for being close up, meleeing, all that type of stuff. And late game, you don't really want to be as close, and the action skill that it gives you, the face slam and the fracture, all that stuff is I don't think it's as good as face cast or face grasp. We're gonna go through the blue tree first, as I have most of my points allocated in there. Blue tree is just it synergizes with this red tree really well, because you could, as you can see, you could put on the action skill phase grasp, and then you can also put on the action skill augment stillness of mind. So enemies damaged by Amara's action skill become phase locked until they are damaged or the duration ends. And it's increased, but it's only, my action skill only has like a few second cooldown. How much does it say? It's an 18-second cooldown, but with all the cooldown that we're going to be building and everything like that, she gets it back pretty instantly, as well as the fact you can use it twice with Avatar over there on the bottom. All right, so let's go through the build. A lot of the times I don't usually like to max out certain abilities, just because you can put the point in elsewhere. Like I probably didn't put a point in here just to try to get a point into Avatar down at the bottom. Let's go through it real quick. So we're going to put 4 into do harm. So killing an enemy grants Amara a stack of rush. So this whole tree is just based on these rush stacks. So we're trying to get max rush stacks as quick as possible, so we can do a crazy amount of damage with phase lock. And we just do, and as the rush stacks build, we do more damage with guns as well. Reload speed, weapon swap speed, weapon switch, always good. Reload speed is always important. Only 2 into this one. Applying a rush stack, applying a status effect grants Amara a rush stack. We just want to try to get as many things as beneficial for rush stacks as possible. Action skill cooldown rate 15%, always good. Increased accuracy and critical hit damage for a few seconds after activating her action skill. Always good to have increased critical hit damage, and it's 27% increased. And we're going to be using our action skill a lot, so we're pretty much going to always have this extra crit damage. Reload speed for every stack of rush. So that means that you're getting 0.8 per stack, and then 1.2 after the action skill use, and it's 8 seconds. You're reloading so fast, it's crazy. Excuse my dogs. This is one of the main abilities of this tree that I think is just, it requires you to buy it. The stillness of mind now breaks a 3/4 of a second after being damaged, instead of the traditional right away. You don't realize how long 0.75 seconds are if all of the enemies are up, but it's very, very useful. Enemies take increased damage for all sources. Of course, we want them to have 25% extra damage. You phase lock one enemy in the middle, shoot him, everyone dies. Increased gun damage, of course. Why wouldn't you want to put that? Rush stacks gain increased effectiveness. You want to max that out. You don't really need to have a gun. She creates a homing projectile. You don't really need that, as well as improved fire rate and charge time. It's not really important. What is important though is this: she gets bonus 10 rush stacks. So instead of just having 10 as her max, she has now 20, which increases all of the bonuses that she gets. And if she kills if Amara's action skill kills an enemy, it refunds half of her rush stacks. So if you phase lock somebody and it kills them, you get half your rush stacks back. It doesn't work as well with the phase lock as it will with the mystical assault, or phase cast rather. Then we're going to go into the red tree over here. We're going to put 5 into Amara's status effects, increase damage over time, and have increased duration. It's just, this tree is all about elemental, so we're just going to put as much as we can into there. We're going to put 5 into to Tempest, increased elemental damage, of course, increased melee damage, and her melee damage is converted to her element. I mean, she just has amazing synergy with every single one of her abilities. Like, even in the green tree, it's still good. When Amara applies a status effect to an enemy, it has a chance to spread. That's 40% chance of it going to just lighting one person on fire, and we're going to be using 90% elemental weapons, so it's very good. Gun damage is increased for a few seconds after grasping an enemy. Why not? And whenever any player kills a grasping enemy, their weapon is instantly reloaded. Great with the devoted. Increased magazine size. Whenever Marka triggers an elemental effect on an enemy, when that enemy dies, it explodes. Like, everything is good. And lifesteal when she deals damage with an elemental weapon. There's nothing that this lady can't do. She is tank, she is control, she is damage, she is just bae. She is probably one of the best characters we've ever gotten in Borderlands before. She is just all around good. We're going to be using the ties that bind. So summons a giant fist, and enemies near the grass target are linked and share any damage. This couples very well with our stillness of mind. Enemies damaged by Amara's action skill become phase locked until they are damaged. So basically what you're doing is you're phase locking an entire group of fucking enemies. It is very fun. And as far as element goes, you could change it from shock to fire. I prefer having shotgun, just because you're going to be doing fire damage with your weapons anyways, most of the time, and shock just melts those shields real quick. All right, let's go to the build. We're going to be using something called the Speed Loading Hellwalker. I've gotten this drop way too many times, and it's a great weapon for Amara. It's a Jacobs. It only has 2 shots, but it is on action skill end, its weapon status effect damage and chance are increased by 75%. Now, it's not that much, 75%, but that's still going to be doing crazy damage. The other main one that we're going to be using is the Stark Devoted. I'm pretty sure I have a better one in here somewhere, because I know I took one that had lifesteal on it. Might be in my thingy, but I have another one but we're going to be using. Oh, this is the one that has lifesteal on it. I'm retarded. This is Stark Devoted. You know, it doesn't have the ideal elements. Like, I don't really like to use cryo late game, but the radiation is pretty good. We're going to be using the Searing Nemesis as well, because it has an anointment, and the Venomous Vanquisher because it also has anointment. So basically, the weapons that you're going to want to be using with Amara is anything that has an element on it. If you notice, most of the stuff I have over here, every single one has an element, except for, like, you know, just a couple of them that require, you know, just in case I need to not have an element on my weapon for the mods. Flacker is another good weapon for her if it has an element. I'm just going to slap this Layuda on because it's just too good to not. Take the Venomous Vanquisher off. As far as shields go and everything else, I have the Big Boom Blaster on her right now, but there's better shields that you could use. Ideally, you could use the Transformer shield and shoot like electric rockets at your feet, so you can get better health back. This class mod I am going to change right now, actually, to this one. So what this does is, on action skill used, Amara gains her max rush stack, but they decay over time. And she gains 3% weapon damage and 10% action skill cooldown rate based on the number of rush stacks she has. Plus, this gives me 25% weapon damage. I don't really care about the Atlas fire rate. The Hyperion fire rate might be nice. The Hyperion weapon reload speed might be nice. So maybe I'll put a couple Hyperion weapons on just because. I think I have a face puncher. Oh, no, I have just the butcher. I'll put the butcher on. Put it on instead of the Searing Nemesis. Grenades. Anytime you're really going to be wanting using a hex grenade. Yeah, Hex Grenade's the best. And I just have this relic on right now because it has luck. But you could use the Infuego, Unleash the Dragon one. 25% extra melee damage and 16 incendiary damage. It's really good for a melee Amara build, not so much for this one. The Electric Banjo is also a, 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 a relic that you could use, but I prefer just having the extra luck on there, and it regenerates health per second, and it gives me cryo resistance. Yeah. So that's the build, and everything like that. Just some noteworthy weapons for her and everything. Like I said, I don't really have True Vault Hunter mode unlocked with her yet, so I can't really show you like the higher level gameplay that I have for her. Hopefully later today, I'll get some done, proving grounds or something like that with a buddy, just to show you some of the gameplay and how effective she is at just controlling the entire battlefield. And I think that will be the end. I think was that. Did Maya just die? Oh no, we're up to where is going to get Tannis from Pain and Terror. But yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the video here. I'm just going to quit out. I'm going to start a new stream. We're going to just be farming Grave Ward with Flak a bunch of times. I'm just going to be playing Flak mostly now. I think there's, like I said, he's just the best to farm with. There's really no reason not to farm with him. He has the highest DPS, I think. He has the easiest time killing Grave Ward. Although, you could, if you get good modifiers, it's always a good chance that other characters might be better. But Flak with a Lyuda is just game, Alright, with that, we're just going to end it here. I'm going to start a new stream. Have a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.